So, today I want to talk a little bit about food chemical sensitivities. I've noticed more and more people joining the group who are mentioning food chemical sensitivities as an issue for them. And so, I want to dive into this a little bit today. It's something that's not as commonly talked about in the food sensitivity and gut health world. And for me, it took a long time to figure out that I had food chemical sensitivities. So, hopefully, this will be helpful in helping some of you who maybe struggle with those to just to tune into maybe that's what's going on. So let me first tell you a little bit about what they are. So the three categories that I'm going to focus on are oxalates, salicylates, and histamines. You may have heard of histamines related to food, but also not related to food, environmental allergies, and things like that. You can have a histamine reaction to all kinds of things, both environmental and food sensitivity. So that triggers a histamine reaction in your body. So what these are components of healthy foods including vegetables and animal products and fruits that if your gut is functioning properly, you just digest them out no problem. Your body has no trouble processing them, taking what it needs, leaving what it doesn't, and then getting those food chemicals out of your body. If your gut is not functioning properly, what can happen is you absorb more of the toxins and more of these different chemicals, and it can really wreak havoc and create a lot of problems in your body. So that's what they are in a nutshell. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that, but just to give you a really brief overview of what food chemical sensitivities are. So what I really recommend is if you are struggling and you've already tried, taking out the real common food triggers like gluten, dairy, soy, eggs, corn, maybe grains, maybe nightshade vegetables. You've tried some of those things and you're still struggling eating a pretty healthy or clean diet. This is something that I highly recommend looking into, because if you're reacting to vegetables and fruits and different meats and things like that, you very likely have something going on in your body with food chemical sensitivity. So, what we need to do with these is identify which categories you're reacting to and then help to bring those levels down in your body so that there's not constant inflammation. Because anytime you're eating something that's not working for your body, you're creating inflammation in your body, unintentionally, of course. But we need to bring that inflammation down so that your gut and your digestion can heal. And then as you heal, you're able to add these foods back in at greater levels. So the goal is to identify what your threshold is with each category of foods. So each of them can accumulate over time. So with histamines, maybe you can only, this was a challenge for me, and I could only eat so many histamines before I really started to feel it and become symptomatic. And when you're symptomatic, there's that inflammation. Like I was saying, when anytime you're having symptoms, there's something going on in there that's not good, not ideal, and we want to keep that down. So we need to figure out your individual threshold for that. How many can you eat? How much does it accumulate? If you splurge, what do we do the next day, to kind of help bring your body back into balance by eating maybe a lower histamine diet, that kind of thing. So it's really kind of figuring out how much your body can handle without being symptomatic, and then helping you to heal by not going over that threshold and not creating that extra inflammation, and allowing the body to do its thing and really come back to a balance and to a place where it can heal. And then as you heal, your threshold will expand and you can add more of these food chemicals back in because your digestion can handle more. So, different foods that are in these categories, I just want to talk a little bit about each one. So oxalates are things like beans, seeds. There's certain vegetables like carrots and celery are high. Nightshade vegetables are pretty much high in all of the food chemicals, which are things like potatoes, tomatoes, eggplant, Goji berries fall into that. Ashwagandha, if you're taking ashwagandha and you react um, to the different food chemicals, you may be having a reaction to that supplement as well. Ashwagandha, for those of you who don't know, it supports your adrenals and your immune function and things like that. So it can be very supportive if you tolerate it well, but if you don't tolerate it super well, then it's not ideal for you. So other things in the oxalate categories are things like nuts as well. Chocolate are high in oxalates. So if you kind of resonate with a few of those things like spinach as well. I mean, there's vegetables that we think of as being, or I did anyway, think of as being super healthy that you can be reacting to. So it's just good to know that, don't rule out any foods, because you could literally be reacting to a variety of different foods and it's going to be unique to you and, maybe not what someone else is reacting to. For salicylates, it's more things like herbs and spices, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit, and all of the fruit-based oils like coconut oil. Olives are a fruit, so olive oil, avocado oil. So the oils are really tricky when it comes to salicylates. And then with histamines, meats can be really high in histamine, especially if they are not fresh, and also if they're after they cook, they accumulate histamine. So freezing your food's a really good thing to do if you have histamine sensitivity. Cooking and then freezing your leftovers right away, making broth and freezing it right away so those histamines don't accumulate in animal products. And then other things like chocolate and strawberries, also spinach, nuts and seeds, the nightshade vegetables. Like there's quite an extensive list for each of these, and things like berries and mango. So if you react to strawberries, and some of the different things that I've just mentioned, then histamines might be a challenge for you. So, it's really just figuring out which categories and overall bringing that level down so that your body can really heal. Super important. And I think a lot of us who aren't feeling like we're getting resolution, that was my journey. Like I just kept feeling like I was working so hard but not getting resolution, and not really, I was feeling better but not better enough. And then eventually I started feeling worse and realized it was because I went grain free and I was loading up on nuts and seeds. And my body does better with some grains in careful amounts. So anyways, just kind of figuring out that balance for you. So we want to figure out that threshold. We want to figure out where you can thrive now, and then like I said, it'll improve and your threshold will get bigger. You'll be able to add more foods in, more of each of those foods, and then you'll just kind of know and be able to take control and know that if you overdo it, that might be why you have symptoms, and then you can kind of ease back the next day and help your body recuperate a little bit from it. So I know this can be really complicated and overwhelming. If you want support with this, I offer a free health coaching session where you and I can work together to figure out an individual plan for you and your food sensitivities and your symptoms. So if food chemical sensitivities are something you struggle with, having someone to help you really put the pieces together, because it is like a puzzle. We're collecting clues, we're figuring out what works for your body, what doesn't. We're picking up on patterns and things like that, and having someone to objectively be able to walk you through that and guide you as you go, and even just the support, because it can be really challenging and difficult to figure out why you're hurting, why you're having so many symptoms, and how to come back to a really good place. So if you're interested in that, just write yes in the comments below and I will reach out to you and we can set up a time for that free coaching session. I love taking that time with people, and I'd love to take it with you and really help you kind of sort out and put the pieces of your puzzle together and come up with a plan to get you from where you are right now to where you really want to be. And then, the plan will be those steps in between that can help you get there. So, take me up on that if you're interested. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you again next time. All right, take care.